Hi everyone, welcome to another video. So I quickly wanted to pop on a little bit of footage. I had a few viewers recently ask me if I could film some of the fall leaves that I have around my house. In the springtime, I film my cherry blossoms, but I also have some beautiful trees around my neighborhood. So I'm just gonna pop this on. It was such a beautiful day. I love the fall, the leaves changing. They go through those beautiful stages of orange and gold. So now let's get into the makeup. I'm creating a full face using a bunch of old drugstore favorites. So I hope you enjoy. I just want to say thank you so much to so many of my viewers. In my last video, I asked what sort of videos you would like to see and what are your favorites. You would love to see more makeup tutorials, and I was like, awesome. I love creating makeup tutorial videos. I love playing with makeup, and I love showing you guys what products I think work so well on our mature skin. So thank you very much. So with that, we will just jump in and get started. All the products that I'm going to use today are drugstore products, and I have two new items that I'm very excited to share with you because they were suggested by viewers. I love trying out products when you guys suggest them. So my skin is already prepped with serum and also some eye cream, but I left the moisturizer to apply it while I'm on camera. So the one I'm going to use today is the Biore UV Aqua Rich Weightless Moisturizer. I have two types. So this is the original, and then I also have a glowy one. The glowy one I'm going to use more in the winter time when my skin is very dry because it is very glowy. The one I'm going to use today is just the original. One of the benefits of this moisturizer, it is very multi-purpose. So it is a moisturizer, but it's also an SPF 50, and it also has ingredients in it that you can use it as a primer. So I just put it on my hands and then we'll just rub it in. This is a really lightweight moisturizer. It is water-based, but the nice thing, even though it has SPF in it, it doesn't leave any sort of white cast on your skin, and it's not greasy feeling. It does have hyaluronic acid in it, but look at how quickly it absorbs into the skin. You can see how it dries down to a sheer finish on the skin. This does not do any sort of pilling, which that's one of the reasons I like it under my makeup. And it's good for all skin types, even sensitive skin. And then I'm just going to use the e.l.f. Lip Balm. I always like to put something on my lips as I'm doing my makeup application. This one is in Vanilla Toffee. These are just amazing. They have shea butter in them, mango butter, cocoa butter, and hyaluronic acid, and leaves a little bit of a tint on the lip. And I am going to do my application a little bit differently than I usually do. A lot of times I start with my eyes and then I do my face products, but I'm just going to switch things up a little bit today just for something different, and I'll apply my face products first. So that moisturizer has now had time to sink in. Just because it has SPF in it, if you can, let it sit for about 5-10 minutes to let it absorb into the skin before you start applying your other products. And that way you're getting the full benefit of the SPF. Next, I'm going to apply the Covergirl Simply Ageless Skin Perfector Essence. This is one of those really lovely products that you can apply. It's a hybrid of a skincare product and also a makeup product. Very lightweight. I do have it in the shade 20, which is light. So you can see it has what's called micro droplet technology. You can see it on the bottle there. All those little kind of droplets in there. So how I usually apply this is just on my fingers. You can certainly go in with a brush or a sponge. This is going to give you a sheer tint on the skin. In my opinion, this is a little bit lighter than even a skin tint, but I like applying it before some of my foundations that I use. But it just evens my skin tone out, gives a really lovely radiance to the skin, and I am all about that, especially with my dry skin. It is one of those products that as you use it over time, it is supposed to improve your skin's firmness, radiance. So I think those are really important for mature skin. And it's supposed to help with fine lines and wrinkles. Now, I don't use it enough to say, yes, it does do all of those things that it says. When I've used this in the past, I have had viewers reach out and say how much they enjoy it. They have it and they enjoy it. And then the color corrector today is no surprise. It's the NYX, the Pro Fix Stick in the shade Dark Peach. It's my favorite one from the drugstore. And I just apply it right where I am the darkest, usually in the corner hollows of my eye. And I usually just blend it in with my finger. I find that's the easiest. And yes, it looks a little orange until I get the concealer on. And I will come a little closer so you can see how that CoverGirl essence looks on the skin. Just kind of evened everything out and gets it ready for foundation. You can certainly just wear it like this if you want. If you wanted a light makeup day, certainly you can just use it like this. But I am going to use a foundation today. The one I'm going to use is the Revlon Illuminance, the Skin Caring Foundation. Now I think this may either be discontinued or is going to be discontinued. I can still find it in the drugstore. So until I can't find it anymore, I'm going to keep showing it. It is truly one of my favorites from the drugstore. It is an amazing foundation. And I think it's so lovely for mature skin. I always give everything a good shake. But I remember when this first came out, I instantly fell in love with it. And I don't know why they would want to discontinue it. It's so good. I have it in the shade 201. I'll have to look up the actual shade because I think in other parts of the world, if you have this one, it doesn't necessarily have the number. It has the shade name. I'll try and include that if I can. So it's a pump type of dispenser. Now, before I start applying the foundation, this is the one product that I mentioned that I'm very excited about. And I just saw it this morning. When I ran to the drugstore, I was picking up something else and I thought, I wonder if they have it in stock yet. And they did. So it's the e.l.f. Precision Airbrush Blender. Now, why I was very excited to try this is this was one of those suggestions from a viewer. She said, hey, would you mind showing us this brush? And so I thought, oh, no problem. Well, do you think I could find this brush? I couldn't see it online anywhere here in Canada. It was sold out. I went into the drugstore, a couple of drugstores, could not find it either. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's not great. So it must be very popular if I can't get it. And so all I've been doing is checking back to see when it was going to come in. And luckily, it was there this morning when I was in the store. So I'm very curious to try this. It's an angled brush. So it's ideal for any sort of liquids or creams you're applying on your face. The handle is supposed to be fantastic. It's in the shape of a triangle. So it makes it quite nice to hold. These are super soft. They are a synthetic fiber. You can also use it for powders. So we're going to use it today for liquid. So I'm going to take that foundation and I always apply it to the back of my hand. I very, very seldom apply products directly to my face. By doing this, it also warms the product up. So that helps with blending it in. You can see it is a little bit more on the runnier side. And that usually indicates it's more like a lighter or a medium coverage. So then what I do is I warm it up even more onto the back of my hand. I'm just going to do one side of my face. So I'll apply this much for now. And I always start in the center of my face and work out. So what I'll try and do is hopefully I can find a link for the brush if you're interested in it. But like I said, it was really hard to find, at least here in Canada. Wherever you are watching me from, you might be able to find it where you are. Here it was definitely challenging. So I was very happy when I saw it. So it's very soft. It is blending in the product really nicely. Even the foundation you can see is more of a light coverage, but you can build it up to medium. I always run it down my neck. Okay, so this side now is done and it looks quite radiant. The brush was really, really lovely. Like that was so super soft to apply it. So you can see just a little bit of a difference of how radiant this side looks. It's a very light foundation, not too heavy, and that's kind of what I wanted to do today. I just wanted more of a lighter look. So now I'm going to go in on this side. I'm going to put a little bit more because I used pretty much all of that product. And then a few things about the foundation is it does have squalene in it and hyaluronic acid, which helps with hydration, which is essential if you have dry, mature skin. It's another product that is beneficial for fine lines, wrinkles over a period of time. And once again, I don't use the product enough, unfortunately, that I can say that it does or doesn't do that. I have trying out so many different products. It gives, I would say, more of a medium coverage. And I think there is some blurring effects to it, especially around this area right here. It does look like my pores are just kind of blurred out. Now currently, it does have several shades, but like I said, I'm not sure entirely if this one is discontinued or not. And if they do discontinue it, I really hope they come out with something that is just as good. And the brush is quite nice. What I'm impressed with is it blended everything in so well. I didn't even have to go in with a sponge. Sometimes I go in with a sponge just to make sure everything's even, there's no streaks or anything. But there's nothing, like there's no streaking, there's no nothing. So this is quite nice. The fibers, they're like, I don't feel any sort of, sometimes brushes, they can lose some of these little fibers and stuff, but nothing on my face. So that's quite a nice brush. Very impressed, and thank you to the viewer that suggested it. The concealer I'm using today is the e.l.f. This is the Hydrating Camo Concealer. Now, if you're somebody with similar skin to me, I have dry under eyes. So the only thing I suggest is don't get it confused with the other version. There's two versions. There's a 16-hour camo one. That has a black top. That one has more of a matte look to it. This one leaves a satiny look. I've tried that other one before and it is so drying on my under eyes, and I do not need that. Just accentuated every little fine line and wrinkle I had. So this one is much nicer. So it has quite a big doe foot applicator. I just put some where I am the darkest, and I put some on the outer corners of my eye. Another method you could do is apply it onto the back of your hand and then take your makeup brush, swirl it around and apply it that way. That's just warming the product up a little bit better. I just usually apply it here, give it a few seconds to get warmed up, and then I go in with my brush. This is just the Real Techniques. This is the Kitten Paw brush. Tapping it in. I would say this is more of a fuller coverage concealer. And it does give you time to play with it. And for the essence of time today, I'm just going to use this as a primer for my eyeshadow. In a pinch, you can do that. This one doesn't do any sort of fading. It lasts through the day. And this one is more designed for the normal to dry skin, whereas that other version is more normal to oily. And then, sorry, I forgot to show you the shade. It's called Light Sand. That's the concealer. And like I said, it blends in super easy, and it doesn't feel heavy on the face at all. It's just a really beautiful concealer. Been around for a long time. One thing I am going to do is take that sponge and just blend in the concealer and the foundation a little bit better. The concealer is a different shade than the foundation, so I just want to make sure they blend together. And then I just take it on my eyelid where I put that concealer. So I'm going to use the eyeshadow from that last video. I asked if you wanted me to recreate that look that I did with my eyes, and a bunch of you had mentioned you would like to see me do that. So I had used the Perfect 10 eyeshadow Keep It Ethereal e.l.f. palette. Really pretty for an everyday type of palette. You have a mix of some mattes, some shimmers, the usual neutral palette for me. And I am trying to use also some brushes. I've had a few viewers mention to me if it's, my favorites are the BK Beauty brushes. I absolutely adore those brushes. But I do try and incorporate brushes here and there from the drugstore. This is just the e.l.f. Fluffy Eye Blender brush. And it is super fluffy. Now these don't have shade names, unfortunately, but I am going to go in with this end one right here. It's I guess a vanilla shade. And I'm going to take that brush, and all I'm going to do is use this as my transition shade all over my lid. I like using a lighter shade, and it just helps take away any sort of discoloration on my lids. And it's also going to help the rest of the shades lay down nicer. And I take it with a circular motion right from on my mobile lid right up into my brow bone. The next one I'm going to use is this one right here, a gray taupe color. This is a more condensed version of a fluffy brush, and it fits nicely right in the corner of my eye, and then also goes, it just fits perfectly in the area right above my crease. And the reason that I put the eyeshadow above my crease is if I put it right into the crease, it's just going to make my eye look closed off. Hopefully you can see that this eye looks more open just with that technique. The e.l.f. eyeshadow is blendable. It's not chalky. I don't have any issues with it fading through the day. I have like an invisible line right here that I try not to go down, but if you do happen to do that, you can always clean it up at the end with some concealer. And I also don't want to come too far in, so I usually stop about halfway, and that also gives the illusion of my eye being opened and awake and not droopy. Now, in regards to the e.l.f. palette, I'm going to just leave it at that for now. And then the other product that I used for that eye look was the Clarins. This is the Ombre Skin single eyeshadow, but what it is the shade that I'm in love with. This is called Pearly Rose Gold. It is so beautiful. Love it. And what I do is apply it with my finger, putting it right on the center of the eye. And I don't want to take it any further up. I always keep any sort of little shimmer shade that I apply to my eye just on my mobile lid. People that will say, oh, don't wear shimmer on your lids and stuff, but you know what? Makeup is fun. It's to be played with. And then what I'm going to do is take that fluffy eyeshadow brush and make sure everything is blended together. And then instead of using an eyeliner today, I'm going to use the dark shade over here for my eyeliner. It's a dark chocolate brown. I'm taking an angled brush. This is just a Real Techniques brush. It's very firm. I just start about halfway, really, really snug to the lash line. And I like using eyeshadows because they're easier to work with. And it doesn't have to be this shade. You can certainly, if you have a darker eyeshadow, you can use that. I'm just using this one because it's in the palette. Now, one of the important steps that I do that you don't have to do if you're not comfortable with tight lining, then certainly skip this step. Wiggle it right into the lash line. But hopefully you can see how this eye looks fuller than this eye with just that simple tight lining. And then to add some color to the bottom lash line, I'm going to use that shade right there. It's a little bit lighter than the one that I used for my eyeliner. And I'm using the rougher, this is the 03 brush. It's a tiny little pencil brush, but it fits perfectly under the lower lash line. And then before I apply mascara, I'm going to do my eyebrows. So I'm using the Revlon, the Color Stay Micro Brow. Lovely eyebrow pencil. It has a nice fine tip. I do have it in the shade medium brown, which seems to be the perfect shade for my eyebrows. So I'm just going to start at the arch, and I use feathering motion. I don't want to go straight down my brow, but I'm just trying to feather out those hairs. And then I go back in with the spoolie, brush it out. So this next product I am very excited to try out because it's the second product that was suggested from viewers, and it's mascara. So it's the e.l.f. Lash Extender Mascara. Now this is their version of a tubing mascara. And a bunch of you had mentioned in one of my videos when I was using the Milani tubing mascara, you had said that this one is really good as well. So I was very curious to try it and excited to try this. I love, love, love tubing mascaras. I think they're so wonderful for our mature eyes because when you go to remove it at the end of the night, the tubes just literally glide off. There's no pulling or tugging on my eyes trying to remove mascara. This one, from what I read about it, it says it's supposed to be good for lengthening. I mean, I'm hoping I get the lashes that look like hers on the packaging. We'll see. So this is pitch black, And I think there's a brown version as well. Now, before I start applying it, it looks like it's one of those wands that is spiky. So be forewarned, if you accidentally poke yourself in the eye, it might hurt. And I did not curl my lashes or anything like that because I wanted to see how this truly works on my lashes. So I start right at the base of my lash and work up and wiggle it back and forth. What I'll do is I'll leave you an update in the description box of how it's wearing the rest of the day. How I judge a mascara is if there's any sort of smudging or if it starts flaking on me, if it does any of that. But so far, it seems to be separating the lashes quite nicely. It's even getting those little lashes that I have right in the very corner of my eye. Those are sometimes a real challenge to get to. Oh, this is quite nice. It's not clumping at all. Okay, so that was just basically one coat because I didn't go back into the tube. So let me know what you guys think. That's actually a lot of volume and some nice length. Because I mean, you can see on this eye right here, like I've got short, stubby little lashes. Like there's nothing, they really have diminished over these last few years for sure. But look at how nice that is. Lovely, lovely mascara. All right, so I'm just going to quickly do this side and I'll be back in a second. Okay, I am blown away by this mascara. This is wonderful. So both sides are done now. I did the lower lashes as well. But look at the length. And it gave me some great volume as well. Big, big thumbs up. I'll keep you updated in the description box of how it's going to wear the rest of the day. And a big thank you to a bunch of my viewers that suggested that mascara. So I wanted to simplify the step for bronzer and blush. So the one I'm using today is the Physicians Formula, the Butter Glow and Go Stick. One side is a bronzer and the other side is the blush. The other thing you can do with this is use it on your lips. So you could take the pink shade, the blush shade on your lips. You could use the bronzer. You could use that as an eyeshadow even. This is a wonderful multi-purpose product. I used this a lot in the summertime when I was doing more traveling for my job. It was great. It was one of those things that I didn't have to worry about. I threw it in my bag and it got me through several days. Now you can certainly apply it directly to your cheek if you want. What I prefer to do is use a brush and pick up the product that way. This is the Refer 37 brush, one of my favorite brushes for applying cream products. So I just twist it up and then put the product on the brush. Now you can see here it looks kind of splotchy. And then what I do is diffuse it on the back of my hand and it just shears it out better. And then I just start going in and stippling it on. This is a very buttery formula. It has all those wonderful ingredients that Physicians Formula is known for, like the Mira butter. I believe it has 2 or 3 other shade combinations. It just melts into the skin. It really is buttery and leaves a gorgeous radiance onto the area. It's really pigmented as well, but it doesn't look streaky. You guys know I love using cream products on mature skin. I think it's so beneficial. I also just make sure I run it down my neck. And if you do want more, it is a buildable product, so you can build it up. There, I just love the shade. It's so gorgeous. Then I just take a blush brush, same thing, run it on the product. And because there is a lot on the brush, diffuse it out on your hand and then just start stippling it into the skin. I love this brush because it fits perfectly on my cheek area. It's just small enough. You see how beautiful, radiant, and I think this is one of those products that is another mistake-proof product. And then I had a viewer ask me in one of my recent videos, she had a comment asking if I've used any Covergirl lip products. Now I will say Covergirl doesn't have a great selection of lip products, but one that I do have in my rotation is their Color Stay Outlast Styling Pen. This is a lip stain. What's unique about this is it's almost like a pen, like a felt tip pen. And I don't use a lip liner with this one. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take off that e.l.f. lip balm that I had on, just so you can see what the true shade is. I have this in the shade Admire, right there. So it's nice. It saves that step of having to have a lip liner, and it smells nice as well. These don't transfer. Comes in several shades. It's always hard applying lip products and trying to talk at the same time. They don't feel heavy on the lips. It's a nice berry shade. Just something different again as well. And then if you want to add anything else to the lip, if you want more of a glossy look, then I have the Covergirl, the Yummy Gloss. I mean, you can certainly skip this step if you are not a gloss person. Sometimes I like to have something on my lips that gives a bit of a shine. This one I have in the shade Having a Good Time. It's just like a pink shade. Smells fruity. And then a spray that I've been using quite a bit as a setting spray. You can use it in all sorts of different ways, but I like using it after I apply my makeup, and it really helps keep my makeup on longer. And it's the one by Ethereal, and it's a thermal spring water. So if you have really sensitive skin, or even you've had a sunburn, you can spray this on, and it's so comforting. I'll have a little image of it, of all the things that you can apply it for. I like just applying it as a makeup setting spray. This is huge. Like, this is 300 mils. Like, this is a gigantic bottle, and this is going to last me a long time, rather than using, you know, like the setting sprays from all the other cosmetic brands. This one lasts me forever. So I spray a little bit on my face. And then what I do is use my Physicians Formula Butter Believe It face powder. This is a pressed face powder. It's not loose. I prefer pressed powders. And then I love this brush. It's one by BK Beauty. It's 114. It's a dual-sided brush. So this side, you can hopefully see that they have light fibers on that side. So you use that as a concealer brush. And then on this side, the fibers are a bit darker. And that's what you use for powder. So you're actually basically getting a 2-for-1 brush. I like this one because it's very precise of where I want to put the powder. I put some on my nose. You see right away how it just takes that shine down. And then I put some under my eye. I don't want to look too dewy. I mean, I like having radiance, but there's sometimes where it looks almost too shiny. And that's the nice thing about this brush is I can just precisely put it where I want it, but this will just tone it down ever so much. So I hope you enjoyed this fun Get Ready With Me. Let me know if you've tried any of these products. I know some of you have because you suggested them. I always love it when you guys give me some fresh suggestions and some ideas. Love it. Everything will be linked and listed down below in the description box. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe if you're not already. And as always, I hope everybody has a great week and a great life, and I'll see you all very soon in my next video. Bye!